Bang! What is going on Astro Wrestling Shoots? Fears Cody here, and I kind of wanted to do a redo / follow-up, talking a little bit more in depth about this. I just kind of felt that the other video that I did wasn't up to par. I mean, I'm gonna be repeating a lot of the things I said in the other video, so if you knew what I'm talking about in the other video, great. I did take that one down, because again, I felt like I should probably redo it, and I plan on doing just that right here. So, for those that don't know what is going on with this topic, what's happening is the GFW Network app Twitter account posted a picture of a Steel Asylum, the one that they used back in the day. You guys know which one. The rip-off Hell in a Cell with the stupid rule that you win by what's it called? Going through the little hole in the ceiling and all that. And the caption read, a red steel cage with the ceiling. Sounds familiar. This was posted about 7 hours ago, and I got wind of this after Jack Harvey, JH Films, tweeted at me, or not tweeted at me, but tweeted about that. And I went on and found the tweet from Empire Wrestling's Twitter page. First, let me get something out of the way. If this was something for like, just to bust a nut, so to speak, then that's fine. They've been working together with documentaries, like with the Hardy Boys thing, and they've made some good documentaries as a result of it. So WWE and TNA being on the same page when it comes to stuff like that, and maybe even future projects down the line, could end up being a really, really good thing for the wrestling business. Because as you guys know, these two have been going head-to-head ever since. People say 2010 whenever Hulk Hogan came. Or was it 2010 when Hogan came in? I don't want to get that wrong. I think it was 2010 when Hogan came in. Beginning of 2010. But they have been going at it for longer than that. They've been stealing each other's ideas, and the thing is, that is the norm. That's one of the norms of professional wrestling. Okay, someone does an idea in one promotion, another promotion is probably going to do it at some point down the line. It's just something that happens, and it really isn't that big of a deal. But for someone to have the gall to call out someone for that is very bold on really any promotional wrestling part. If WWE did that, it'd be bold on their part, even though the supposed quote-unquote be-all and all. And what else? I don't know. This comes in light after WWE posted a live feed of the Hell in a Cell. And normally the Hell in a Cell is the steel structure with the steel-like gray color. But this year, they're doing it in a red color. Thoughts out of the way, I like it. It seems weird, but I like it. It kind of represents the feeling of hell. Even though the old steel structure is fine. It was fine before. No problem with that. The red coloring on there really is really nice, honestly, for it. After that was posted, the GFW, the Global Wrestling Network, posted a picture on their social media platform saying a red steel cage with the ceiling sounds familiar, and I will show the picture right as soon as I send it myself. 1 sec. It's Impact Wrestling, but the Twitter account that did this was the you remember the Global Force Wrestling Network app that came out whenever GFW and Impact was still a thing together? It was their app's Twitter account that came out with this. Let me get the photo of myself real quick before I can put it up on the screen. For those that don't remember, because this match hasn't been done since 2010, I want to say, but I don't know 100% for sure. Here, like, not working when I wanted to work. But no, if you're asking, it's Impact Wrestling that was doing this, because They retweeted that tweet, and it was their network or their like app account. You know how WWE Network has the WWE Network Twitter account? This is TNA's equivalent to that. That posted something like this. Okay, let me show you a screen share of the structure real quick, just so you know what the hell's going on. Okay, so this was the cell structure that was talked about on the Twitter account. If you guys remember this match, I don't remember the name of the match, something Asylum, something, I don't know, where there was like a lot of, it was mainly used as a way to determine #1 contenders for X Division titles or world titles. You had a lot of people in a cage at once, and then the way you win is there'd be a little hole like right here, and someone would, whoever climbed out of it would win the match. I think it was just called the Steel Asylum. I don't know for sure. But it hasn't been used for a while, like a good while. I don't know. I have no clue. I mean, he's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion right now, so I don't know if he's going to win the IWGP title anytime soon, or if he's going to win it before they eventually go back to WWE, because I really think that will happen one of these days. But that's neither here or there. So the GFW Wrestling app Twitter account, the Impact Wrestling Network, a Twitter account, so to speak, posted that on there and put the caption, "A red steel structure with a ceiling. Sounds familiar." Okay. First off. On either record, if it was WWE doing this, if it was, or if it was Impact doing this, that doesn't matter. Neither side is to talk about fucking ripping off. New Japan Pro Wrestling has to make Cody the world champ. Who knows? Maybe one day he might be the world champ. Who knows? But I think he's the current NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He's going to be defending against Nick Aldis on October. I've seen it somewhere. The 70th anniversary of NWA is when they're going to do the rematch. Nick Aldis versus Cody for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. But for Impact, first off, to have the goal to call out WWE on this, let's theoretically assume that this is not just for busting balls and knee slaps. Like, you know, I'm not going to do this just to be funny. Let's put that aside for a second. Which, I mean, of course, that could be all a possibility. And if it is, then, you know, well, NWA TNA was an alliance when TNA first began. So back then, obviously, the NWA had fundings to help out TNA, and since then, TNA has gotten, obviously, in a better financial position, it seems like, according to what you have put in the chat. But first off, it's real rich. It is real rich coming from Impact about ripping off when they've been doing it practically since the very beginning of time. They've been ripping off WWE since the very beginning, because at the time, WWE, and still at the time, WWE was the top promotion in the world of professional wrestling. And TNA saw this, and they're like, you know what, we're going to steal some ideas. We can do this, but we're going to do a twist to it and make it our idea, and it's going to be our own thing. And, you know, like, storyline stuff, you know, that's a given that's going to happen in different promotions. They're going to have their own twist on it, and you know what, that is what it is. That's perfectly all fine and good. But I'm talking about, like, ideas that they have for matches. More specifically so. And ideas for characters, so to speak. And I don't know, maybe storylines. Well, I don't know. Storyline's kind of a difficult one to talk about, because, you know, and matches that have happened in both promotions, I cannot talk about that at all, because, I mean, well, you know, if they're in the same promotion, it's bound to happen at something. Maybe. You know, but except for Sting and Undertaker. But World Champion TNA and Lucha Underground. Pentagon Dark is killing it, absolutely killing it. And we'll see if maybe Pentagon Dark or Pentagon Junior or Pentagon L something keep forgetting that one. But it will be very interesting to see what will be in store for him if he does end up coming to NXT or the WWE. But looking at that structure again, okay? Let's look at the structure again. Let me screen share real quick. Okay, so Impact has accused WWE of ripping them off, right? Okay, so steel structure. You know, I mean, in all wrestling companies, like major wrestling companies, there's going to be a steel structure. So I mean, you can't. It's not really fair to say a steel structure is ripping them off. That's not fair on any end. But the specific kind of steel structure we can go into. Okay, so the roof is circular. You know, let's see. Wasn't this the ripoff of the Hell in a Cell, kinda? Wouldn't you guys say that this, or maybe Lethal Lockdown is TNA's version of War Games? So I can't really say Lethal Lockdown is like that. Well, I mean, when the roof closed down. No, even that's still WCW. So that's WCW's thing. This is the bootleg to Hell in a Cell. Let's remember that, okay? Just with a six-sided circle, you know, cage, octagon, all that. You got the circular roof. You got the little hole. And it's red. So you're saying WWE ripped you off, okay? Well, first off, you ripped them off with this. And was a very poor attempt at it. Because this match always fucking sucks. That's some cool spots, but it always I never liked this. I never liked this match because of the stupid way to win. Like this is the most stupid thing I've seen. Like, fuck, like so stupid. So let's see. Did WWE rip you off? No. Actually, no. They did. Okay, they did. You want to know where they ripped? They ripped off the color red. That's the only thing. So Impact, with that, thinks that they own the color red. That's essentially what they're saying. If they're saying that WWE is ripping them off with that specific structure, that means they're saying that WWE is ripping off the color red because they think they own the color red. Hey, newsflash. For those of you who are going to defend TNA on this and say, yeah, WWE has ripped them off with this. Okay, well then Impact has been ripping off WWE since the very beginning of time. With the color scheme and everything, with the red ropes, with you know, everything red, ripping off WWE because WWE's logo has always had the red underline for WWE or WWF if you want to be specific with that. You want to make that argument? I can make that argument too. See how that's a stupid argument? It's a stupid argument for a reason. Because it makes no goddamn sense. And no one owns one goddamn color. It's a color. Get over it. Big whoop. It's a fucking color. What, are you gonna fucking sue him? You gotta sue him for WWE with Elimination Chamber? Actually, well, this is kind of... Okay. You brought up something that was a good point. WWF ripped off WCW from with Elimination. Actually, I haven't got that comparison. Let me know how, dang memes, if you don't mind. I actually haven't made a comparison with WCW and the Elimination Chamber. Let me know, actually. That'd be pretty cool to hear about. But the Elimination Chamber, you brought up a good point, because this is this TNA thing is the same thing. It looks a lot like the Chamber, just no pods. With the circular ceiling, yeah, okay. Thank you, Dank Memes, for that, because now I'm seeing that this is kind of like a Hell in a Cell Elimination Chamber. What would it look like? Well, I mean, that's beside the point. I mean, like, WWE has ripped off the WCW ideas, and, you know, that's still valid to say to this day, just because WWF or WWE bought WCW. That doesn't really... Just because they bought them, that doesn't mean that they necessarily, like... How do I put it? The ideas are still known as WCWs, if that makes sense. Like, and theoretically, retro speaking, you know, it would be WWE's by default due to that classification and because they own WCW. But again, WCW had their own separate ideas. WWE has their own separate ideas. TNA has had their own separate ideas. Actually, no. I hang on. Let me think. Monsters Ball was their version of like a hardcore street fight sort of thing. I can't really say that's copying. King of the Mountain is basically a reverse ladder match because of the popularity and stock, I believe. More so popularity, I think, because the more like popular they get and the more merch that people get from there, the more that they're worth. It all adds up to money value, I believe. Let's see. Beast of Fire, there's basically Money in the Bank, but except for all the titles, and you fired a guy. You know, and won the line match of his pulls. Let's see. Leave the Lockdown is War Games, just with one cage. It is a shit ton, dude. You imagine having $450 million? God damn. That's a lot of money to hold on to. I don't know, man. But for Impact to, and the same thing goes for WWE. Like, I don't want like TNA people to come over here and be like, "Oh, you just defending WWE." No, like, I'm not advocating for them as in they've never done this kind of shit. They have done this kind of shit with TNA. They did it with WCW. They've done it with other promotions outside of TNA and WCW, like New Japan and Ring of Honor. WWE has done this absolutely, and you know, for other companies to be enraged by this, I get it. But if TNA is going to try calling them out, then don't bitch the next time WWE actually does rip them off instead of just stealing the color red. That is the only thing that they ripped off, and that is not a ripoff. So therefore, TNA, Impact Wrestling, GFW, whatever you want to call it. Well, I can't really call it GFW because that's a separate thing. Like that's confirmed a separate thing from TNA nowadays, GFW. So I can't really categorize them together anymore. But the global force, the global network, wrestling network or something is a little bit confusing. Yeah, that's also true. Like, oh man. It's unreal. And like I had a couple of Twitter altercations with people about this whole thing. There was actually another one named Cody, you know. One guy did point out that WWE has been doing the same thing with WCW, like the War Games and the pay-per-view names, etc. And that was it. And I'm like, this is also true. Like there's no denying, and in none of my Twitter arguments does say WWE has never done this before. I was strictly, and I am strictly, calling out TNA, Impact Wrestling, for calling WWE out on any sort of idea of ripping off when they have done the same thing for years and years before WWE did it. Let's also, I'll bring this argument in just a second because I'm going to bring up another comment that was seen. Another guy named Cody. That's real funny. It said WWE's been ripping off from Impact for years. I can't even list how many fucking times WWE has stolen ideas. Impact has full right to be outraged. I'm like, remember who started the ripping off first between the two? TNA. And this is true. Like, TNA thought that they could get a good start by just ripping off stuff from WWE. This is true. Not everything they did at the beginning was a ripoff, but there were some things that they did that were definitely ripoffs of WWE. And you know, the same argument could be said. WWE has full right to be outraged at this, and they could steal an idea if they wanted to do it. I said, there's no denying WWE is ripped on TNA, but two wrongs don't make it right. Since Impact started it, and you think that they have a right to be outraged, then don't bitch when WWE actually steals an idea from TNA. I said, also, another thing, WWE didn't actually steal or rip off anything except for the color. Newsflash, Impact doesn't own the color red. And if anyone thinks that that's stealing still, then that would mean that TNA would have ripped off more from WWE than WWE is from TNA since the very beginning of time. And that would be true. Absolutely true. like, since TNA didn't start off until like 2002, right? After they started after WCW folded, okay, and WWF had been using the color red for years. So yeah, if people still think that TNA is ripping off of WWE, and they're only ripping off the color red, mind you, then that would mean that TNA has been ripped off of WWE since the very beginning of time, and they've never had an original idea when it comes to color in their own in the little brain cells. That's fact. If you want to keep saying TNA that WWE has ripped them off because of a color, okay, we'll play that game. And TNA has done that since the very beginning. Not an original color on the body bone. When it comes to the logo, the ropes, nothing. We can definitely play. We definitely play that game again. If people are gonna keep saying that WWE is ripped off, then you know what? Same can be said with Impact, and even with that, Impact I believe is ripped off more WWE than WWE has for them. Again, no denying that WWE has ripped off TNA, but this whole thing is bullshit. And for the fact that WWE multiple times this year has given TNA full public publicity, something like they have done before, mentioning TNA on WWE television and working with TNA to make documentaries and everything to feature on their network and featuring their app, promoting TNA and the app on every documentary that they collab together. For them to do this, it's a real spin in the face, and I really think that it puts a bad name on them. But a lot of people don't see it that way. They're trying to justify it and say that. What is that? Boy, I don't do earrings. Okay. A major 5 wrestling promotion altogether with dominating AAA, which man Ring Honor Impact. About 3 more years and then really could be running. Well, that's if WWE doesn't increase in value as time goes on, and with the deal with Fox and everything, and if they make things like better in the WWE, then I'm willing to bet that the value will go up within those 3 years. And there's no guarantee that like in 3 years' time they'll raise up. There's some years that it raises up, and some years that it's kind of like, you know, a little raise, and sometimes like there's like a push. It's just a push up and that's it for like the whole year. So 3 years, I don't know. Maybe if like that's saying if everything goes completely well. Like if everything goes completely well with all 5 promotions. But that's no guarantee. I mean, within those 3 years, 3 of those companies could be gone. Within those 3 years, they could be all gone. Those could be all gone. Hell, wrestling could be all gone in 3 years for all we know. We never know. We can't predict the future like that, but a good estimate is what we can come up with. What was I going to say? I think I've covered everything, honestly. It's petty. It's petty on Impact's part, and it's really a spit in the face. Not as well as Scott brought up. Lucha Underground has 4 seasons left. That could go in the span of 3 years. Yeah, like Lucha Underground will probably be gone in 3 years, unless they keep going after the 4 seasons deal and all that. But I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, it's petty and it's disrespect. It's flat out disrespect and hypocritical. It's a lot of things. It is a lot of things, and it's a real shame. But then again, I'm not surprised. Impact's had the tendency of doing this before. You know, it doesn't surprise me. But for them to kind of have the goal and this kind of, you know, and I'm not bashing the product as like it's currently going on right now. I haven't watched it in I don't know how long. So that like I'm not bashing the current product. That wouldn't be fair. But I'm saying like doing stuff like that can give you a bad rep, even if the wrestling you're putting on is good or fantastic to some people, or even if some people prefer Impact over WWE, which is all right. That's fine. Like Do that. That's your own prerogative, man. But know when your company is doing wrong. Like, if WWE was doing wrong, you're damn right I would say something about it. I have many times before. But, you know, just know when your company is doing wrong. And if you want to say something, say something. If you don't, then no. That's all fine. But at the end of the day, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, we are Google Passion Wrestling fans who love the other professional wrestling, but we're not afraid to shoot straight from the hip. Let me do that again. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, we are Google Passion Wrestling fans who love the art of professional wrestling, but we are not afraid to shoot straight from the hip. But for now, I must bid you all adieu. Goodbye, and good night. Bang. Well, actually, you know what, Scott? Actually, before I go, that wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if he was. Again, remember the whole debacle when Impact was completely disrespecting their fans? Remember that? Like, a year ago? Has it been a year? It's been a little bit. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me themselves. But thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, we're a group of passionate wrestling fans who love the other professional wrestling, but we're not afraid to shoot straight from hip. Up and down, guys. I must bid you all adieu. Goodbye, and good night. Bang!